So this one's gonna be again about the TED speakers that actually recommend some books, which all could, be quite great. I haven't had a look at a lot of them. I think only two of them, which were those two graphic novels, which were just pretty interesting though. I know, especially Moon Cup, I guess it is one of the, well, it just really looks great. It really just looks like a great book. The illustrations are great. I think the story is great as well. But yeah, with this being said, hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. It is currently 9 a.m., so 9 o'clock in the morning, which is actually pretty fucking nice, because I like it. I've been doing quite a lot of things today. I've pre-produced an episode yesterday, which is totally great for me today because the whole day long, I think I am not at home. I do just have to get some books for my diploma. And I do just have to commute a little bit to get them. And then I'm gonna meet with my friend, and then we're gonna also just talk about the diploma itself. And I wanted to actually start the research and everything today, because I've already planned everything, because I just really want to plan things, this time. I'm usually not planning any fucking thing, because this is just somehow something that I don't do. But, this time I thought okay, it just makes sense to do it. Just because I do just want to make a great diploma. I do just want to make great work. Yeah. But without saying anything else, I think we should just start ahead with the article. And we're going ahead with memoirs and essays. I do not actually know what essays are, to be quite honest. Wow. Why the fuck should I be or should this be bigger? I guess this should be bigger, but I don't know why it is so small. I've actually had a look at it just a bit ago. Why is this now? If it is too big, if it is too small. I'm just having the screen just pretty big of my recording software, and I guess it is quite fine. I think the screen of myself could be a little bit better. I could be a little bit bigger, but the bigger I am, the worse the quality of my camera actually is. Therefore, I don't know if I should do this. If I should do it, and I think I'll just gonna let let everything be as big as it is, even though it bothers me quite a bit. Well, let's make it a little bit smaller, a little bit. Let's have a look with the window. Let's actually have a look at this one. So, okay, here it is like this, but I don't somehow like the way that I'm here. I'm just really cut up. It is not good for all the thumbnails that I'm going to make or that I have to make. And yeah, I think this is just a little bit better, a little bit nicer, but I could just be also a little bit bigger. And now, do we have some space for it? We also have some space for the slider. By the way, follow me on Instagram. I'm just posting daily 8 posts, so there's gonna totally be something to watch. Actually, more something to watch than to look at nowadays, because just, video works way fucking better than picture does. It's just insane. It really is insane. I think I've recognized that quite late, even though I'm just posting every single day. I also do not quite always just look up all the stats and so on, because I do not want to get obsessed with the numbers and with how everything is doing whatsoever. I guess this wouldn't work so well. It wouldn't be so great for me. I think it would just be, I would just, I think, cripple myself if I would just really, 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 really focus on stats and numbers and all these things. But I guess how it is right now with the size of the screens and everything, the proportions aren't that great, to be honest, somehow. But yeah, never mind. We are going ahead with memoirs and essays. And the first one is Proxies by Brian Blanchfield. Yeah, Blanchfield. So in this book of essays, Blanchfield backs away from, are essays like a collection of different stories or different books? What isn't fucking essay? Article, piece of writing, composition, study, paper. A short piece of writing on a particular subject. Okay, now I know it. Blanchfield backs away from books, from Wikipedia, from the internet, and asks himself, what do I know? He writes about food washing, chat roulette, hide and seek, and mutters among many other topics. His writing weaves erudition, or waves erudition, and sharp analysis with autobiography, poetry, and humor. This book, more than anything, is an examination of an alternative method of knowledge production. How do I come to know something? So how do I come to know something? One that takes accuracy and inaccuracy, memory and misremembering, shame and truth, and misdirection, all as equally valid points of departure. This is from Oscar Schwartz, who was actually featured in a TED Talk, Can a Computer Write Poetry? And I assume, through just AI, through algorithms, through just deep learning, through all this fucking shit that is just really, also popular nowadays, to be honest, because everyone seems to have some AI on their website, in terms of actually some bots you can write with, which is, at my point of view, actually really great, because you do not just have to employ those people that are currently or fucking all the time on the phone, having to deal with those customers that are just, really bad. And, well, on the other hand, those people do not have any jobs any longer, or they're not going to have just jobs 10 years from now, 20 years from now. It's going to be not so good for them. But for the consumer and for the customer, it is quite good, because at least me, at least in terms of me, I do not want to just talk to someone about what my problem is. I want to just write some bot, and he gives me the best answer. I think that's just way more convenient, and I just like it way more. Might be because just people, or at least me, I do not just want to talk on a phone, I guess. Something that I particularly do not like to do. It really comes up to the person. It really, really fucking comes up to the person. It's a friend of mine. If it is a friend of mine, or my mother, or some other relatives, or something like this, it is totally fine. I'm not complaining about that. But yeah, I think you get what I mean. We are all socially awkward nowadays. Nah, not really, but yeah. So, The Sense of Wonder by Rachel Carson. This short, beautiful memoir by the famous author of Silent Spring, the groundbreaking warning about the costs of chemical pollution, came out half a century ago. It chronicles Carson's beach walks with her nephew and her unfolding understanding of the power of a child's wonder and surprise at nature. An inspiring read for those who would like to share nature pleasures with a child and rediscover their own sense of wonder. This is just really deeply correlated to one of the articles that I went through just pretty recently, also from the ideas.ted.com website, which was all about connecting to nature, letting your kids connect to nature, just getting a little bit closer to nature, and just also this kind of rediscovery and finding wonders in nature. I guess it was quite a great article, even though, as I've said, I think 2 days ago, or actually also in today's episode, which is unfortunately also about the same exact thing. So I'm actually just, talking about the same thing as the other episode that I'm going to upload today, which might be good, which might be bad. But the good thing is that I'm actually going to finish this one today, which is good, because I do not want to just drag around such a lot of articles for such a long time. But yeah. This saying is from Emma Maris, and she was featured in the TED Talk, Nature is everywhere, we just need to learn to see it. The next one is Survival in Auschwitz, If This Is a Man, by Primo Levi, or Primo Levi, I don't know. So this is an iconic memoir of a year in Auschwitz by an Italian Jew. Never mind. So deeply psychological and insightful. Deeply psychological, yeah. I've read it rightly. or just, yeah, never mind. It is a breathtaking analysis of what becomes of people forced into a setting that is designed to destroy one's inner being and life. From Deborah Lipstadt, from the TED Talk, Behind the Lies of Holocaust Denial, which is actually the case for, I think, a lot of people in Europe, especially, I think in Germany and in Austria, where just, everything happened or anything just started quite. There are still a lot of people that deny Holocaust, and in Austria and Germany, it is actually, I think you can actually get sued for it or can actually get in jail for that. There is actually some laws against that you just really should not deny the Holocaust. And especially also you should not, do some salutes, or you shouldn't do, or you must not do, is it must not? Yeah, you must not do salutes, you must not just have certain signs on your arms or something, some swastikas or something like this. Talking about it, I think, is okay, especially in school. It is totally okay. I think it's also important to talk about these things so that they do not fucking happen again. But well, yeah, there are just a lot of things, and you can also totally sense that people in public wouldn't talk about this, and when another person is talking about it, they will just completely just shut up, or they cut themselves off. They would go away. People do not want to hear anything about it. It's just still one of these topics that people do not want to talk about. Even though I think, as I said, especially in school, it is very important to just tell people what happened. At least in Europe, sometimes I sense that in the United States or just somewhere else, outside of Europe, people do not know a lot about it. I'm just assuming. I'm really assuming. This is just what I somehow sensed, which I think makes sense because it's not their history. On the other hand, it is just something so fucking important, not only for us Europeans. It's just also, I think, important for people outside of Europe. It is definitely still one of these topics that you basically maybe should not talk about in public. It is just, just a really fragile thing. This is really not something to touch, I would say. But yeah, let's go ahead with hopefully some happiness and some positivity. Even though, this book, so Survival in Auschwitz, is also just deeply correlated to Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, which is also a book based on just, the Holocaust and what happened there and his experiences in several different concentration camps. And it is very interesting. It really is. And it is actually a non-fiction. Well, it definitely makes sense that it is a non-fiction book. But there's also some psychological value inside of this book. So you can definitely profit off of it in this way as well. But the next one is A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf, or Woolf, because it's a double O. So many of us had Virginia Woolf as a required reading at some point in our schooling, but I think her works are worth revisiting as an adult. Woolf's intended audience in this book is women writers, but it is just as relevant to social scientists or anyone looking to examine patriarchal culture. Just really, really, really fucked up words. Or I can't just read, You can always blame some other things, but just actually blaming yourself is the best way and the best thing you can actually do. And I'm going to just talk about it a little bit. Yeah, I do just have the proper time for doing this. The thing with actually blaming somebody else is that basically you give them the power to change how you feel, what you do. It depends on the situation. It depends on what you said. If you say like, okay, I'm unhappy because this motherfucker did something like this and that and whatsoever, because everything happened because of him and whatsoever, you basically give him the power of changing the situation so that you feel good again. And unless he doesn't change anything or she doesn't change anything, nothing will happen. You won't feel good. This is everything that you that you're doing to yourself actually when you're blaming somebody else. If you blame yourself, the only one and the only person that can do something against it or do something about it is yourself. If you blame somebody for you feeling bad, of course you then have to wait for this person to change something, whatever it might be or whatever it will be, so that you can feel good again. And I think this is just not a good strategy. This is not a good tactic. This is definitely not something that you, in my point of view at least, should do. You should really not do this, because you do have to wait for somebody else to do something unless you can do or feel a certain thing, or feel a certain way, or be a certain way, or act a certain way, or whatever it is. You just have to wait until they do something. And I guess it is just really great if you have the power, and if you do not have to wait for someone, for something, for anything, but you can just really start ahead. For sure, this can get into a really kind of fucked up place and in a really bad place if you really blame yourself for everything that happened. Blaming yourself for just natural disasters or catastrophes that do just happen. Well, it is, I think, not the smartest thing to do. But yeah, because if there's a typhoon or if there's some hurricane or something, you're not to be blamed. This is not your fault. But if you're unhappy, I guess it is totally your fault. And you should also blame yourself, because it is something that's very important, and this is something nobody should just have some power of. Yeah, off, on, never mind. Just really be the smith of your own luck. Yeah, which is actually a German saying, but which is actually very interesting. All these sayings, they all just are so kind of, so random basically, and they still, if you're in this culture, if you're in this society, if you know just the meaning, if you speak the language whatsoever, because I assume in every single language there are certain sayings like this, they totally make sense, and it is really like, okay, this just means that and whatsoever, and it's just so kind of normal. But if you're just hearing it in another language, or if you're just trying to translate it into another language, it just really sounds so completely shit. But yeah, never mind. The last thing we are going... Have I... No, I haven't. So her observations and insights are just as meaningful now, nearly a century later, as they were when she first wrote this extended essay, unfortunately. From Sophia Chord Wessel, from the TED Talk, The Lies We Tell Pregnant Women. And the last thing, or the last chapter, genre, thing, or whatever we're going through, is poetry. Yeah. The first one is Take This Stallion by Anais Duplin. Anais is probably just pronounced wrongly, because there is just some 2 points above the E, or above the I actually, not the E, the I. Yeah, so I do not know how to pronounce it. And there's actually a word for these things, also just the kind of roof-looking thing on letters is also called a certain way. I don't know how it is called in English, but yeah. So an hour with this book will change even the pitch of your internal thoughts, as poet Dublin reshapes it with her vivid and hypnotizing words. Each poem promises a new and reviving experience, whether it's the hypothetical secret philosophical life of Kardashian West or a peanut salesperson knocking on a door. Dublin's writing is bold and dangerous, rough and intelligent, angelic and humble, or angelic and humble. It has the power to look into readers' souls and know them. From Sianda Mohutsiva, from the TED Talk, How Young Africans Found a Voice on Twitter. And the last one is The Conference of Birds by Peter Sis. This is a book you could read over and over for the rest of your life, at the very least for its graphic beauty. Sis animates a 12th century epic poem by Sufi Mystic and poet Sufi Mystic or Mystic and poet Farid ad-Din Attar I'm again sorry if I'm just pronouncing that just completely wrongly, that takes readers on spiritual quests through adversity, uncertainty, and human weakness through the metaphorical experience of birth. Yeah. From Nabila Alibi, or Alibi, whatever. From TED Talk, why people of different faiths are painting their houses of worship yellow. Yeah, this is actually the end of this one. And I do think there's probably, or there's definitely one book for you. But I do just have to have a look at the Conference of Birds, just because they talk about graphics, and I'm interested in that. The Conference of Birds. It seems to be a fairly old one. Have I just... Yeah, from the 12th century. It is actually, the original published book is from 1177, or 1177. However you actually say that. Yeah. It is in Persian, actually, the original one, and it is in epic poetry. But I would like to see some inside stuff of it. Yeah. Oh. I guess I actually know it. But I'm doing my best to show you here. Yeah, there you have it. Yeah, now I think you can see it a little bit more accurate, a little bit better. Here you can see, actually this should not be like this. No, I should also not fucking stretch it. I should do it like that. Thank you. Have I just stretched the fucking shit? I could do it like this. It's just really... something that some people do is actually stretching fonts. Which is something you should really not do. But I'm just really... Is it like this? Should it be like this? I don't know. This is a little... Is it right? This could actually be the right thing. But I don't know. Yeah, let it be like this. I think this is just not so bad. Even though it might be a little bit... And there you can see some artwork inside of the book or outside. I think this is just some alternative cover. Might be just, at least looks the way. It just really looks great. I do not know the genre of the painting or of this artwork. Unfortunately, cover is also nice. At least this one. I think this is just one of these books that has just such a lot of versions, such a lot of publishments, or publishments, never mind, and such a lot of covers, which is pretty interesting. But I still like the artwork inside of it, which I'm assuming are these ones here. The thing is, if there is another book that might be very interesting for me, for you, for somebody here, because I do just have the time, let's actually have a look at one of every category, I guess. And I think I'll just take the first one. Yeah, I think I'll just take the first one, just because. So there you can see in the memoirs and essays, I'm gonna just take proxies, even though there was the Auschwitz book, which actually is also pretty interesting. But as I said, I do not want to just think about those things. Just take it, go to Google, put it into it, and then boom, you get a lot of fucking results. So there is only the author, which is pretty uninteresting, to be honest. A rich and compelling personal account, Financial Times'll this memoir in 24 essays. Blanchfield focuses on startling miscellany of topics. Food washing, dossiers, never mind. Poetry and autobiography from 2016. It would be nice to have something like... It is also reviewed by The Guardian. So I assume I could actually show you, if you're interested in that. I hope I'm not gonna get fucked for just doing something like this. But I guess it should be okay. It should be okay. More people in Austria. Thank you. Thank you for just saying me or telling me where I come from. The style is a thing of wonder, dense, learned, cleaving towards the academic without ever being Casaboon dry. So the style is a sense of wonder, is a thing of wonder, dense, learned, cleaving towards the academic without ever being Casaboon dry. What is Casaboon or Casaboon? Isaac Casaboon was a classical scholar and philologist. What is a philologist? Philologist, sorry. First in France and then later in England, regarded by many of his time as the most learned man in Europe. His son Merrick Casaubon was also a classical scholar. Very interesting. But let's see. Let's go ahead. The next one is from Social Issues, which is between the world and me. I can't read today. Might be because of my fasting, but I don't know. Actually, a pretty nice cover. I hope you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. Between the World and Me is a 2015 book written by Ta-Nehisi Coates and published by Spiegel and Grau, or Spiegel und Grau. It is written as a letter to the author's teenage son about the feelings, symbolism, and realities associated with being black in the United States. Originally July 14th, 2015, 176 pages, so it definitely is beneath or below 200 pages. Biography or autobiography. Some reviews maybe. In American history, Coates finds the answer to why he believes the progress of those who think themselves white was built on violence and looting on stolen black bodies. From Daryl Pinckney, the New York Review of Books. An unrelentingly severe, taut, and timely text that's been nearly universally praised. From Thomas Chatterton Williams' London Review of Books. Let's see some pictures. Yeah, the cover is pretty great. It really is great. It just really tells a rough story, to be honest. It just really it feels rough. It looks rough. It is amazing, I guess. I really think it is amazing. I also like the font, Often you can see the covers. The covers are either just really good or really just shitty, I guess. This is a really good one. I also like the red and also kind of the proportions and also the back of the book, which is on the left side here, where there is also some, well, it's not the back, but the really, the left edge of it, where you can see all those letters. It is great. Art? Never mind. Is he an artist? Does he do something else? I guess he's an artist as well. Pretty great. I like this one. Just looks like Henry Ford, or just looked like Henry Ford. But let's see. If there's another one, Creativity and Advice by Wabi Sabi, or Wabi Sabi. I think I'm really bad at pronouncing those names, but I guess this is the next one. I also like this cover, even though it is just really simplistic. This is also nice. Oh, this is a sign. Never mind. Or a signature, not a sign, a signature. Let's see what Google says about it. This is an updated version of the enduring classic that first introduced the concept of imperfect beauty to the West. Text, images, and book design seamlessly meld into a wabi-sabi-like experience. It is originally published in 1994. Okay. Graphic novels, I've been gone through them already. History and Science. Ode to Zd. Whatever this actually means. Ode to Zd, The Words of Birds, North America, Britain, and Northern Europe. The distinctive and amazing songs and calls of birds, a meditation and a lexicon. A miraculous little book, a compressed encyclopedia of our fascinating with avifauna? Never mind. The Nation, a charming, funny, and eccentric book, times literally supplement an elegant tribute to the beauty of its subject. From 2010, from John Bevis. So let's have a look at the cover. The cover is also not bad, to be honest. Well, I guess there is totally some mediocre covers. Some covers that are just like, okay. Can I do it like this? They're just somehow like, okay. They're not just really bad, but they're okay. They're okay. Let's put my half behind it again. But yeah, let's have a look at the last one, I assume, which is the summer book. The summer book you could read in the summer. The summer book, it just already looks like a classical one, even though I like this one. I really like this one. Is it from Tove Jansson? I guess it is. Yeah, it is. Have I just fucked something there? No, I haven't. I really like this one. But let's see. So the summer book is a book written by Finnish author Tove Jansson in 1972. Literature fiction or literary fiction, and the original title is Sommarboken or Sommarboken, which is summer book, I assume. Country Finland, and published in 2003. So I guess newer versions are published in 2003. But yeah, these seems to be it with this episode, I assume. The lighting is just really great now. I really like it. I really like recording in the morning, and in the noon, but not in the evening and not just in the night, because the light is just pretty shitty and I do not have a proper light setup here, which is, a little bad, but never mind. I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success, and I also hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you gonna be remembered, which means your legacy, and even though, you totally have it in your control and you totally have it in your hands, you cannot make everyone happy, and not everyone is going to like you just by default, just because not everyone's gonna like you. But with that being said, I wish you the best, and I see you the next time. And thank you very much for viewing and or listening and or something else. Today might be just a third episode. I don't know, because I've done everything so quickly and so on. But I'll see, and I'll see you.